Hello and welcome to the sixth part of the stay-at-home cushion crochet along. So when we left the last section, we'd been working on the narrow waves, which have a row where the stitches increase in height and decrease, and then the corresponding stitches above it in the subsequent row. So where there's a double crochet, there's a double treble in the row above. So a double crochet has a double treble in the row above. A half treble has a half treble above, then coming down to a double crochet above the double treble of the row below. So we've got 4 rows of the wave stitch, and then you did a repeat of the pattern we did earlier. So you did some more rows with the nice little bobbles, and now what we're going to do is some granny clusters and then a couple of rows of trebles, which will set you off for the final instalment, and then you'll be finished. So let's add some granny clusters to our cushion. So get your slip knot and join on your new colour. There we are. And then you're going to start off by chaining 3 for height, as the treble is a tall stitch. 2, 3. Then you're going to miss 2 stitches and put 3 trebles into the stitch after that. So miss 1, 2, and then here in the third, 3 trebles. So yarn over into that stitch again, yarn over and out, yarn over through the first 2 loops, yarn over through the second 2 loops, and then one more in that same stitch to give the traditional granny cluster shape. And then we're going to miss 2 more stitches and put 3 trebles into the stitch after that. So 3 more trebles into the third stitch, and that's the pattern. Oops, Daisy, do that one again. That's the pattern that you repeat all the way across your row. So miss 1, 2 and put 3 trebles in. There we go. I think granny clusters are an old favourite, aren't they, for granny squares, but they just look great, and show off the miss 1, 2 stitches in the third, and show off the yarns nicely. There we go. So you just work your way across your row, putting 3 trebles in, miss 1, 2, 3 trebles into the next stitch, like that. And then we've missed 2 and put 1 treble into the final stitch at the end of the row. And then we're going to change colour. There we go. For row, so that was row 35 that we've completed. That's our first row of granny clusters. There we go. So for row 36, let's see, what shall we have? Some lilac. There we are. Oh, where's the end of that? There it is. So we'll join that on with a slip knot. Like that. And then we'll work our way back. We'll join in at the end. Oops, there we go. So we're going to chain 3, 2, 3 and make 1 treble into that first gap. Oops, 1 treble in the first gap, and then we're going to put 3 trebles in each gap. So we don't need to count the stitches this time because we've got the gaps to work into for this little bit of granny stripe, which is a great stitch to use to make a blanket. My favourite summertime blanket is one I've made in cotton, in quite bright, cheery colours in a granny stripe pattern. which I bring out, well, it feels like summer now, doesn't it? Which I bring out in the summertime. And it's always nice to see it. There's something about the simplicity of the pattern that's really pleasing. There we go. So I'm putting one cluster of trebles into each gap along, and then we'll make 3 trebles. 2. Okay. There's our last one. And then we'll change colour. So already the pattern is building up. Hang on, don't want too many there. So two trebles in that last gap. So there we are. We've got, so this is on the back, so we're going to turn and work our way back again. Obviously yours will be much longer because it's across the full width of the cushion. There we go. So one final row of granny clusters. Join that one on. So this is row 37, isn't it? Row 37. So we'll start off by chaining 3 for height, and then 3 trebles in this in the first gap along. So 1, 2, 3, and the same as the previous row, you just pop 3 trebles into each of the gaps across the row. There we are. And thinking ahead to when the cushion cover is finished, I'm going to make the back of my cushion from a felted jumper. Now, I know we can't go out shopping and rootling around in charity shops or jumble sales at the moment, but if you've got an old jumper that you'd like to use, you can prepare it by felting it in the washing machine. And to do that, you put it on a hot wash with something heavy like the bath mat or some jeans, and you put the soap in, run the hot wash as normal, and the jeans or the bath mat will bang against the woolen fibres and cause them to felt together. And then you've got a great fabric that you can use to back the cushion, and when you cut it, it won't fray. So just be thinking, where could you beg, borrow or steal one from to make the back of the cushion. Okay, so now we're going to finish off with 1 treble at the end of the row. There we are, like that. So we've got our granny stripes going across the cushion. So row 35, 36 and 37 are your granny stripes going across, and then we're going to do 2 rows. So row 38 and 39 are the same. We're going to get another colour, and we're just going to do a row of half trebles. So I'll just start it off to remind you of a half treble stitch. So join on your new colour. There we go. And just chain 2 this time because it's a half treble, so it's slightly shorter than the treble, but it's yarn over into the top of the stitch of the row below, yarn over and out again. You've got your 3 loops on your hook, and this time you yarn over and pull it through all 3. So yarn over into the next stitch, yarn over out of the stitch, yarn over, pull it through all 3. So it makes a nice stitch that's a little bit taller than a double, but a little bit shorter than a treble. And if you work row 38 and 39 in half trebles, so there's the granny stripe section, then row 38 half trebles and row 39 half trebles as well. And then that sets us up nicely for this bean stitch section, which is a lovely texture, isn't it? I like the way they lean in different directions. So if you continue up to row 39, and then we've just got our last section left to do. I will put the written instructions, they're all on my website, together with links to the previous videos if you want to go over and review any of the stitches, and I'll put the link in the comments so that you can find them. And if you're stuck with anything, do get in touch. I can always do a little extra quick video to show you how to do a particular bit if you're struggling with it. Okay, enjoy your crochet.